Yo, what's up? This is Trip from Japan. I have a company, Chibi Moku, and I have the Sturdyshots Steadicam. And I use the Tokina 11-16mm wide angle lens. And I know a lot of people have been wondering, how do you get that balanced and whatnot. And to be honest with you, I was about to give up. Man, I've been doing it, trying to figure it out for a while, and man, like, I was going insane trying to figure out, but pretty much all Steadicams are like that. You just got to kind of persevere through it. And but I tell you what, I got this thing rock steady. I've used the Merlin, and my God, this thing it's insanely steady now. So I wanted to give a few tips about using the Canon 60D or any DSLR for that matter, and the Sturdyshots Steadicam. So one of the main things that I found is that, the bottom part here, you can use the extension piece, but I kind of didn't like that because, it kind of added a lot of distance to the bottom, and when I'm doing events and stuff, I didn't want that hitting the ground, so I kind of wanted this distance so I could go down a lot lower, so I didn't want to use that extension piece, and it's kind of really important for the DSLRs with the Tokina because it's so heavy. So you kind of need that extra distance in order to balance it right. So what I did was I went out to a hardware store and I bought these extra double-sized weights. So they're like double the weight of the original ones. And I bought, 10 of those. And I added a lot of extra weight, and then I still added a bunch more of the regular ones. There's actually some small ones here. So I put quite a bit of weight here in order to keep it from using the extension piece, because technically if you can keep this smaller, the distance from here to here, you're going to get less swing and whatnot. So that's kind of what I wanted. So I went out and got these, and that was one of the big things that made a big difference on this, is getting this extra weight down here. The other thing was, since when you use the extension piece, since it can like turn left to right, you kind of balance your left to right using this weight down here, especially since the DSLRs are kind of what are they, right heavy. So you have to kind of turn it opposite to the left in order to get it balanced. So if you're doing an event where you're like changing between your Steadicam all the time and whatnot, it's easy to bump that and you find yourself having to change your balance. So I kind of wanted all of my weights to be locked in once I get it set right. So by using that bottom piece, I can lock that in, get it exactly right, and then there's two ways you can do this. You can use this long extension piece like this, or you can not use it. I found you can not use it, but putting it on there is a really big difference, I've noticed. So I decided to use it, even though it kind of sticks out a little bit. The way I figure it is, the old cameramen used to use huge cameras and they used to be all over the place. So if I gotta have a little bit of an extension sticking out when I'm working, I get the shots better, so I prefer to have it. I'm probably going to buy some little safety stoppers here, just so I don't hit anybody with them or anything like that. But usually when you're using the Steadicam, you're being very steady and you're paying attention to what you're doing, so hitting people is really not so much of a problem. So what I did then was I put the extension piece on, and I used the, what would it be? It would be the left slot here. Since the camera's right heavy, I use the left slot, and once you put it in the left slot, it now becomes left heavy. So if you notice, there's more weight on this side now than there is on this side to counterbalance it. And I also picked up some wing nuts for this thread, and it's a huge improvement because I can tighten these and get them exactly how I want them, especially when I get out to on the day of the shoot. I can fine tune it exactly, set it down, fine tune it, and then bam, tight, everything's tight, and nothing's gonna go out of whack unless you smack your camera or something, which doesn't usually happen. So by using these wing nuts like this, you can really get it nice and tight, and get it exactly, because every time you put the camera, take it on or off, you might be a few millimeters forward, you might be a few millimeters backwards, you might have the camera twisted a little different than before. So it's good to be able to like fine tune it just a little bit. And all I gotta do now to fine tune it is just, if it's leaning this way, just move this weight just a smidge this way. Or just move this weight just a smidge the other way. And it really takes seconds to fine tune whenever you get out to an event. Usually when I set it up, it's like, oh, I could go with it, but you know, now that I know how to use this thing, I want it perfect when I start. So I just set it down, maybe, you know, 30 seconds I can fine tune it, and it's you know, rock solid, ready to go. So, you know, the key elements, again, with the Tokina being so heavy, get weight on the bottom, a lot of weight. And if you want to use the extension piece, that's fine. But if you're like an event videographer, I find that can be a problem, bumping it and whatnot. Especially since you're focused on what you're doing, and then you go down and you hit the bottom or something. So by not using an extension piece and just using it like this, I think it works best for me. Also, make sure that whenever you're weighting it for the first time, you use it the exact way you're going to shoot with it. So since sometimes I go outside, sometimes I go inside and whatnot, I definitely take the cap off and put the hood on. I just go with the thought of use the hood always, because if I'm going to go outside or inside, I don't want to have to think of different balances or anything, so just always hood on. And since I don't know how other people are, but just my preference, I like to have the screen out, because I go down quite a bit. I like, you know, going down and up, so I have the screen out on my 60D. So balance it, make sure you have your screen out when you're balancing it, because then you'll move it out after you balance it, and you're like, why isn't this working? So yeah, that's about it. Purchase some extra weights, some wing nuts, and you'll be good to go. I'm stoked. After setting this up, I'm so happy. I was for a long time like, oh man, my Steadicam shots just aren't good enough. But now, man, this thing it's like a $2,000 rig, and thanks a lot to Sturdyshots, man. You guys are really kicking ass. So thanks a lot, guys.